We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, you can get that at betterwater.com. Why do we need it, Mason?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's definitely a reason. It's definitely a reason.
It's a pretty good reason.
Betterwater.com. we only have the best reasons.
Only best reasons.
I'm sure there might be sulfur, or iron, or chlorine, or E. coli in the water, but, like, will somebody think of the frogs?
Yeah, we get down to the nitty-gritty here.
We're going to be judged as a society by how we treat its most vulnerable. And the frogs, high on that list. So, it's actually a real thing. Atrazine. Atrazine. It's turning the boy frogs into girl frogs. Worth a Google if you don't believe me. It is. It's a real thing. All right, we got a lot to get to today. Mary Cutter is going to be rejoining the show. We're really excited about Mary getting in here. She is one of the premier up-and-coming country artists in Nashville today. She is unafraid when it comes to writing songs that might piss people off. And we love it. Devil Wore a Lab Coat has just been a massive single for her, and she's got a lot more singles on the way. We're going to talk to her. She's got an upcoming tour, and we may even be giving away a pair of tickets to her show in Nashville. So if you're a Mary Cutter fan like I am, you're going to want to stick around for the interview. If you don't know who Mary Cutter is, by the end of it, you're going to be a Mary Cutter fan like I am. I guarantee it. That's going to be happening at 9:30. We're really looking forward to Mary getting in here. She's just one of the sweetest ladies that you could meet. And my 11-year-old's very excited that she's coming in. She really wants a Mary Cutter autograph, and so I texted Mary, and she was like, "Yes, we're gonna get that girl an autograph." So Kennedy, if you're listening, don't worry, we got you covered. And Mary will be joining us right after the 9:30 newscast. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, there's a lot of news to get to. Let me just start by saying prayers going out to all of the victims of the violence over the weekend, be it in North Carolina or Grand Blanc, Michigan, at the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints. Horrible. Now, what are we going to determine from this? I mean, there's a lot of questions right now. It depends on what you listen to, right? If you go on some websites, they'll say that he was anti-Trump, and that I think it was the Gateway Pundit reported he was anti-Trump. He had a Trump sign next to a stop sign, and it was "Stop Trump." And okay, maybe. Other individuals are saying no. He was a conservative. He was right wing. He was MAGA. Maybe. All I know is that more people, innocent people, were the victims of violence over the weekend. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The FBI has called what happened at that Church of Latter-day Saints a targeted attack. And we learned that there are now 4 victims, and I mean, my heart goes out to all of them. But the theories online are left, right, and center. Now, some individuals are saying this was targeted at Mormons because of Charlie Kirk and the Mormons in Utah and how that went down. I honestly don't buy that for a second. I haven't heard one conservative blaming Mormons for the death of Charlie Kirk. And I would also go out on a limb and I'll tell you, a lot of Mormons work at Turning Point USA, believe it or not, and some of the nicest people I've ever met. So I don't see that for a second. What really is probably going on with this guy? PTSD, psychotic breakdown. It's heartbreaking. This is from the Daily Mail. Michigan church. Death toll doubles after search of building where Iraq War veteran Thomas Jacob Sanford planted 3 bombs and opened fire. 4 churchgoers have died, with at least 8 more injured and others potentially unaccounted for after the gunman set fire to the Mormon church in Michigan and began shooting congregants. The fire was accelerated by gasoline, and it was horrific. I mean, if you look at the scenes from the shooting, which we're going to get up on your screen here in a moment, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble, it was awful. The smoke billowing out of the church, just the destruction that you saw. It was awful to see. And again, if you're watching us on the YouTube stream, I'm cycling through some of these pictures of the scene. You'll see the Mormon church. Then you'll see videos where the fire was raging from a distance, and it's just awful scene. This is evil in action. So we're praying for everybody that was we're praying for everybody that was involved, and we're praying for the victims. They're going to use this. The left will use this as a weapon against the right. They'll use this as it's not just left-wing violence on the rise. To which I would respond, we haven't been beating the drum, conservatives, against Mormons for over a decade. Like, these two things are not the same. So, an Iraqi war veteran with PTSD having a psychotic break is not the exact same thing as seeing Charlie Kirk shot in the throat after years upon years of calling him a racist, evil Nazi bigot. It's just not the same. It's not. But that's what we'll hear, guaranteed. We'll also see the fact that, the mainstream media is going to use this. They're going to harp on this, and we don't know what the motive is yet. You can start to jump to conclusions. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to land on it. Donald Trump responded on Truth Social, and Trump said, "I've been briefed on the horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on the scene and will be leading the federal investigation, providing full support to state and local officials. The suspect is dead, but there's still a lot to learn. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. The epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately." I agree with that. We can get into a conversation about Mormons and whether or not they're Christian on a day when they're not mourning. That's not the conversation that I want to have here today. I'll just be honest with you. I like I said, I know quite a few Mormons. They've never tried to convert me. Selfishly, I thought, well, I feel like I'd be a pretty good Mormon. I don't know why you wouldn't want me in the club.
Be a pretty top of the line Mormon.
I feel like you ever do that? Like, you're walking around the Jehovah's Witnesses, and you're like, I mean, I've passed a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, not the same as Mormon, mind you, but they never seem to want to engage in a conversation with me. And I'm like, guys, what did I do wrong? I wouldn't join the club, but I'd at least like the offer.
Yeah, just to be considered is nice.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Just asking for an offer.
Sorry, probably not the right time to do this, but I digress. We are praying for the victims of that violence, and we pray that this violence just stops completely. They're going to use this and say, see, there's right-wing violence too, and sure, there is, but again, this is completely different. And I'd also add, nobody on the right celebrated when your unhinged leftists took out illegal aliens. We responded again with prayer. That these two sides aren't the same. They couldn't be further from the same. And we'll try and watch the mental gymnastics of the mainstream media today to make it seem like this is right-wing violence and it's just as bad as left-wing violence. It's not. It's not at all. But we'll see that. Some Democrats do appear to be sane. One of those Democrats being John Fetterman. He posted on X that left-wing terrorism climbs to 30-year high and demands his own party to stop calling conservatives Hitler or fascists. He said political violence is always wrong with no exceptions. We all must turn the temperature down. Fetterman's not winning a re-election with comments like these. I feel pretty confident about that. And we'll have to see how it plays out. But Fetterman, again, seems to be the only sane Democrat out there these days.
But, I mean, on the left, you've got such extremes. Would you consider switching parties?
No, I'm not going to switch, but I'm just going to be an independent voice in the Democratic Party. I'm not going to be afraid if people, and if there are groups attacking a Democrat, the last one in Pennsylvania, then to me, that's part of the problem, in our party. And if you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists or all these kinds of things, well, I'm not going to be that guy. Independent thinking and views wherever that I happen to believe the truth, regardless if it's the Republican or the Democratic voice, what I think is the truth in this. Now, in this truth right now, it's firmly on Israel through this. And it's always wrong to shut our government down. And that's where my voice is. And if that puts me as an outlier, and that's where I am.
That's John Fetterman sounding reasonable. He's not sounding like a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. He's not sounding like a Republican by any stretch of the imagination, but he sounded down the middle. He sounded like an independent. And listen, I appreciate it. He said, if you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists, I'm not going to be that guy. Thank you. I wish more Democrats would take the same position as John Fetterman, but we don't see that at all. We see the exact opposite. They're doubling down, calling us Nazis, calling us fascists, calling ICE the Gestapo, and we've seen that ad nauseum all weekend long. Scott Jennings, another voice of reason, went after what was being described as a clueless leftist on CNN. And he was talking about the rise in left-wing violence, and he took it to this young kid.
I want you to understand that we are in the middle of an epidemic of left-wing violence. They're attacking ICE. They shot Charlie. It's happening all over the country. We have these Free Palestine people running around trying to burn down the Pennsylvania governor's mansion. On and on
then
and
maybe
on.
The president,
it's not Trump's fault
the president of the
that
United
the left
States
is radicalized to the point of saying, we're done talking and we're going to start shooting.
Is Trump amping down the tensions?
Amping down the tensions?
Yeah, is he taking the tensions down? Is he trying to do that?
I think he's mad that his friend got murdered. If you want
the job of the president is to tone down the rhetoric.
The job of the president is to tone down the rhetoric. He's pissed that his friend got murdered. Live on the internet for everyone to see. Let's yell at Trump to tone down the rhetoric. Where were these same people when Kamala Harris was at the Congressional Black Caucus? This was just over the weekend. Is anybody calling on Kamala Harris to tone down the rhetoric, amp down the rhetoric, as Abby Phillips said when she makes comments like these?
At a time such as this, it demands one thing for sure. We must fight fire with fire.
Anybody calling for Kamala Harris to tone down the rhetoric? No. Weird. What a weird thing. We must fight fire with fire? No calls for Kamala Harris to tone it down. There should be, especially when you actually see the leftists using fire, be it firebombing Teslas, as Scott Jennings put it, the Free Palestine lunatics lighting Josh Shapiro's mansion on fire. We can go on and on. But President Trump must tone down the rhetoric. What about Gavin Newsom? Should he tone down the rhetoric? It was just over the weekend where his Governor Newsom press office Twitter account was calling Stephen Miller a fascist. That's literally all they posted. Stephen Miller's a fascist, all caps. Stephen Miller quoted it, said, "Why do you think they posted this?" I think they posted this because they believe it. I think they posted it because they actually truly believe it. And we are seeing more leftist violence. You know that at the UN General Assembly, an HHS official was physically assaulted by a deranged leftist. This is according to the White House. And Fox News broke the story. Trump administration official was physically assaulted by a deranged leftist inside the United Nations Thursday afternoon during the gathering of the UN General Assembly, Fox News Digital has learned. An official in international relations working for the Department of Health and Human Services was in New York City serving in a support role for HHS Secretary RFK Jr. and the department's leadership team at the UN General Assembly. An HHS official was followed into a bathroom, recorded, physically assaulted, and verbally accosted by a deranged leftist at the UN who somehow entered the venue past multiple layers of security. There were a lot of security failures at the UN General Assembly. This is another one. White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly told Fox News Digital, thankfully, the official is safe and the lunatic was arrested, but this is part of a disturbing and dangerous set of failures by the UN after the sabotage of President Trump ahead of and during his speech, talking about the escalator stopping working, the teleprompter stopped working, the volume for his microphone was lower than any other speaker. But I think it's also part of a dangerous trend that we're seeing with left-wing violence on the rise. These individuals feel emboldened to do this kind of stuff. And they feel emboldened by their own party and their own party leadership when people like Kamala Harris get up on stage and say, we got to fight fire with fire. We're seeing it over and over. Will they report on this on the mainstream media today? No. They'll focus on what happened with the individual with PTSD, the Iraqi war veteran, who opened fire and set ablaze to the Mormon church. They'll try and use that to blame it on right-wingers, but we exactly know what time it is. That event is isolated and rare. What we're seeing with left-wing violence is growing in the numbers of occasions that we're seeing it. It's getting increasingly more violent, and these two pictures are not the same, no matter how much the left wants us to think that they are. We got a lot more to talk about on the way. Mary Cutter's joining the show at 9:30. We'll stop down from politics for a second. We'll talk a little bit of music, and we'll talk to Mary. She's been making big moves. She has dropped that single, The Devil Wore a Lab Coat, which obviously Big Pharma doesn't want you to hear. We'll play it during the interview, and then we'll play some of her new songs. She actually wrote a banger about Red 40 that I want to talk to her about. It's very rare to have an artist who can write a song about Red 40, and it's an absolute banger. We'll play some clips of that as well, and we'll talk to her. She's been making some big moves. She's on tour now, and she was actually on a MAHA panel, Make America Healthy Again. Yeah, our own Mary Cutter. We'll talk to her on the way after 9:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris And here from my friends at Cabinet Makeovers, and I got to tell you all about these guys. They've installed some brand new pull-out cabinets in my house, and they're amazing. I mean, we're not bending over, reaching to the back of the cabinet for pots and pans anymore. It's not killing my lower back. My wife can get everything easily. The kids can get everything easily, and they have transformed our kitchen in a way that I honestly I can't explain in a 60-second ad. This company can do the exact same thing for you. Family owned, been doing it in Middle Tennessee for over 45 years, and everything they do is Tennessee made. Every cabinet, pull-out, drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. Craftsmanship is top-notch, and the team has decades of experience. You can feel it in the work. Now, what really makes them special? A well-designed kitchen is going to change your life. Again, I said physically, you're not bending down to get those pots and pans out of the back of the cabinet. You're walking into a beautiful space that lifts your spirits every single day. You should see my wife floating through this kitchen. But they don't stop there. Cabinet Makeovers does custom closets, pantries, and cabinetry for every room in your house, all built with that same Tennessee pride and the biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Call Cabinet Makeovers today. You're not going to be disappointed. 615-331-7010. 615-331-7010. That's the number to call. You can always see examples of their work online. CabinetMakeoversTN.com.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
We've got the latest about National Guard troops headed to the city of Memphis starting today. You'll want to hear this coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
929 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So excited to have back in studio the one, the only Mary Cutter. What's up, Mary?
Good Monday to be alive. Thanks, Chris, for having me.
I'm so excited. We got a lot to talk about. Your career, I feel like, is just taking off before our eyes.
Well, that's really kind of you to say that. I got to tell you something. This is crazy. So I was at a restaurant the other day, and the waitress I was taking my order, she said, "Hey, I heard you on the radio a couple months ago." This was literally last week, okay?
Really?
And I was like, "Oh, really? Who is it?" She's like, "Here in town." I was like, "Was it Chris Hand?" And she's like, "Yeah, I listen to him every morning." So if you're listening this morning, good morning. So isn't that crazy?
Anecdotally, we have the #1 show for servers in town.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't magically happen.
No, that's
and
so
you know,
cool.
and I feel very lucky to be back on your, in your studio, sitting in this chair, talking with you.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about you were on a Maha panel.
Yeah.
You got a banger coming out soon on Red 40, which is just I remember when I first heard the clip, I sent you a message. I was like, who does this? Only Mary Cutter. So we're going to talk with Mary a little bit more at length when we get back. Really excited to have you in studio. And Joan Jones has your latest headlines right now on Super Talk.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to let you know here about a problem out at the airport this morning. Donaldson Pike, both directions at I-40, the diverging diamond there. They've got more road work happening, and that's causing the traffic to slow down. Careful in that area this morning. In the news, National Guard troops could be in the city of Memphis starting today. Part of President Trump's plan to battle high crime rates in the nation's big cities. Governor Lee saying that the Memphis Safe Task Force members won't carry weapons and they will be wearing easily identifiable uniforms.
We have a generational opportunity to make Memphis a safe city, and we're not going to let anything hold us back from allowing this city to be all that it can be.
However, protesters hit the streets over the weekend. Channel 4 on the scene, even as some from Nashville protested.
Our cities don't need this. We need housing. We need jobs. We need opportunity.
I don't want this for Memphis. I also don't want this for Nashville. I really don't want it for any U.S. city.
13 agencies to be involved in this operation. The Memphis police chief saying it will help put a dent in Memphis crime. In Michigan, officials in the town of Grand Blanc held a nighttime press briefing on the attack at a Mormon church where they have now confirmed at least 4 people are dead. The search continues, though, for more victims in the fire that destroyed that church. ABC's Josh Margolin tells us that the suspect is a 40-year-old Iraq War veteran who rammed his car into the front doors, used gasoline to set fire to the building, and opened fire on parishioners.
Officials last night at their final press briefing of the day said this was being investigated as an act of targeted violence, but they didn't say it was being investigated as an act of domestic terror or a hate crime. That's the type of thing they would say if they had confirmed a motive that suggests that Christians were being targeted for being Christians, for practicing their faith.
That suspect was killed in a shootout with police. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
$9:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So excited to have Mary Cutter back in studio. If you don't know Mary, you need her on every playlist you own. It's Cutter with a K. You're on all the social media platforms.
Yep.
And you are an emerging star in the country world. I think that you're going to be one of the biggest country acts ever. I have full faith in you.
Chris, that means so much to me because I know you hear a lot of music. You are in the studio all the time. That means a lot to me. And I also got to say, man, I just want to hit record and just press, play button every time I go out in public with that intro.
I think you're awesome. And I'll tell you why. Because you're just so different than what is out there with country. I want to play this snippet real quick, and then we'll dive more into like what you've been up to. But I feel like I teased it. You put this out a little while ago, and it's a song about Red 40, and we only have a snippet on the internet. But I've never heard somebody make a banger about Red 40. But Mary Cutter can.
The song's about Red 40. Mama packed it in my lunchbox. Drank it from a juice box. It tasted like cherries. It's really crazy what it's colors sitting on my lawn. Commercial called it fruit. It didn't grow on trees. They just had sales stickers. Just trying to get it. Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
That meal was good and cursed. Well fed but 6 feet under. Crumb trail behind the hearse. Yeah, they sell. Keep them profits pouring. Poisons flying off the shelves. Labels got no warnings. They try to sugarcoat it, but we're just buying that story. We're seeing red, red 40.
How do you come up with a song like that?
Just living life and thinking about, with all the information coming out now about all different kinds of things, obviously. But that day, I was sitting with my co-writers just right across town in East Nashville. We were sitting in my buddy's living room, and we were talking about just all the stuff that was coming out with it. And I was telling them, I remember growing up, there was a lady in our church who her sons were the same ages as my brother and me, and her name was Miss Karen. And Miss Karen, she would not let them have, like, literally Oreos, any Red Punch, any of that stuff. And I remember growing up in Kentucky thinking, that's so crazy. Well, no, Miss Karen was on the money.
Yeah, she was ahead of the curve.
She was ahead of the curve. And, we were just talking. We're like, man, there's so many things that we don't even know what we've been putting into our bodies for years. And I think about, where I grew up, Kentucky is the #1 state for cancer, and the county where I grew up is right at the heart of that. And who knows if that's what, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons that, things like that happen, but a lot of it can be the things that we think are safe that are on the shelves, and we buy them and then we put them into our bodies, and lo and behold.
Yeah.
So we were like, man, this Red 40 business. And we're like, you know what? We're seeing red, now that we're actually starting to see what Red 40 does. And the song just kind of fell out.
It's an unbelievable song. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. Do you have a release date in mind for an album?
How do I put this on the radio?
I know you got a lot of moving parts behind the scenes.
There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. I would, realistically say that it will be sometime, in the next year, in 2026, because look at us now. We are finishing up on September, which is crazy.
Yeah,
so realistically, now we've cut 4 songs in the studio for the album. So that's kind of where we're at right now. In probably about a month, we're going to go back in and cut the next batch of 4 songs, then do, another 4, 5, 6 songs after that. And then we'll be trickling singles out, like a little piece of candy. Oh, there, a little piece over there, and I'm so excited. And the thing is, like that song right there, Seeing Red 40, as I write these songs, like that day we had written that song, I recorded the demo in the writing room, then I posted it, and that's kind of how I've been doing this. This, Chris, we've been friends long enough where, I write these songs, I post a little snippet online, and I see what the folks think.
Yeah.
And, some songs caught me by surprise a little bit, like Seeing Red 40. I don't even know where that's at now, but I know I posted a couple times and it's went viral a couple times, kind of like the Lab Coat song.
Yep.
And it's so interesting to me. It seems like I feel like the word authenticity and authentic is just thrown around a bunch, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's different ways that someone can be authentic, right? But it seems like the more we write about songs that are talking about real things,
Yep.
it seems like folks are resonating with that,
Yeah.
And I never would have guessed, though, that we could write a banger about Red 40, though. I was not, that was not on my bingo card for this year.
I think that was when I saw the snippet, I think that's what I sent you in a message. I'm like, only Mary Cutter could write a banger about Red 40. But these songs are you're getting attention a lot of places now.
It's been really fun. It's been crazy to see how social media, it's the great divider, but it's also the great connector too. In my world, it's been quite the door opener, and I think it's just been from, posting every day, a little snippet of a song here and there. And some songs seem to have caught, a little bit of fire. And, right after I'd been on your show a couple months ago, the following week, Glenn Beck had reached out about me coming on his show. Yep. And that was through social media. Yeah. I didn't know Glenn Beck or any of his people. Obviously, growing up, I'd seen his show,
I wear it as a badge of honor that I scooped Glenn Beck. I got Mary Cutter
you did, Chris.
I do. I tell people all the time, like I beat Glenn Beck to the curb. All right, but these songs get attention, and then you find yourself getting phone calls where it's not just about music anymore.
Right.
Like you got invited to be on a Make America Healthy Again panel.
Yes.
How does that feel when you're like, I just signed up to be a musician, and now they want me to come talk about health? What runs through your mind? What was that conversation like?
It's really cool. It's honestly an honor because obviously every morning I get up and I try to write music that, will touch people. I don't write songs just for me. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you got to write a song that's just like a diary entry, but I always hope that my music will, touch people. And when we got that call, I was not expecting that. Maybe I should have been with some of the subject matters I've been writing about, but that was really cool. So we hopped on, and I don't know if you joined the webinar or not, if you were on there too, but there were a lot of just heavy hitters that are really doing a lot in that whole space. Of course, I'm in the music space, so I don't know about all the different folks to a T, but I know people like Dr. Oz was on. I want to say he was right before me, maybe two before. Russell Brand was on, and what a cool way. I was honestly really impressed with how, whoever organized that puppy, and I know they do a bunch of stuff, and they had just asked me to be part of this one thing, but it's really, really great too. And I'm sure you've thought about this as well. I feel like that entire initiative, I know people are going to try to politicize the color of the sky, but literally it's going across lines. And I think that's incredible. That's so incredible. And I hope that, all the songs that I write, they reach both sides of the fence, because, Red 40, it affects people no matter who you vote for.
Kids aren't Democrat or Republican.
Hey, amen. That is, I've never heard someone say that before, but you are so right.
They're not.
Wow.
It's just, we got to look out for the kids.
Yes. And that's really inspiring seeing all the stuff they're doing. And there's so many different things. And that was the last thing I'll say about that webinar. So before I hopped on, so what they did for any folks that hadn't tuned into it, they had different speakers and folks, and they were organized. I got the little itinerary before. I had 7 minutes on this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, I got to talk fast because I could talk a long time. And anyway, they had all these different people from talking about, I was on talking about the opioid epidemic, and Big Pharma, because I have a song that's about that, about Big Pharma targeting Eastern Kentucky. Yes, the Devil Wore a Lab Coat.
Which is an amazing record. We're going to play it in its entirety before we close out.
Thanks, Chris. And they had other people, though, even talking down to household cleaners, different things. It got me thinking there are so many different pieces, obviously, that go into health. And I feel like this big umbrella is covering so many different things, and it's very inspiring. It's inspiring that people are doing something about it because we have science. We get to learn things like, oh, wow, turns out this thing is actually really bad for us. We should take that out of our food,
I think one of the things that got you noticed, though, is your fearlessness in all of this. You're not shying away. You're not backing down. I got another song here from you about Green River in Kentucky, which you said, authenticity gets thrown around, but I can feel the authenticity in your voice when you're singing this record.
Thanks,
this is a snippet of Green River.
That company poisoned our Kentucky water. This song is called Green River. Thanks, Chris.
Well, your family was unlucky if you're from Henderson, Kentucky. Dirty money burned to ashes from the coal. They let it run straight to the water, sent folks straight on to the doctor. Ain't a scholar, but it don't take one to know. Even clean rivers get murky, but they ain't got lead and mercury. mercury that flows right through the pipes into your home, to your blood and to your bones. If you can't swim in it, then you probably shouldn't drink it. It's criminal poisons pouring from the sink. You can thank that corporate cancer giver for dumping all their greed in Green River.
It's a smash.
Thanks, Chris.
Has your style evolved? I go back in your discography, and it seems like you're more Mary now than you were at the beginning of some of your records.
Absolutely.
Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, you are not wrong. You are totally correct. I think, gosh, probably, it's part of growing up, but also I finally got to the point where, so whenever I first moved to town, I was writing songs for other artists to sing. So my job in the writing room was to help tell their story. And that's a totally different thing than telling your own story. Now, sometimes y'all can have the same story you're wanting to tell, I guess. But so whenever I started writing songs for me to sing, obviously, I was a trained little puppy dog to write, the typical love song or heartbreak ballad, and there's nothing wrong with those songs. And I don't mean that, I won't write one in the future, but I don't know completely what the turning point was, but I kind of was just over trying to fit into a box that other people, in Nashville or just in general say what you should talk about. And I find myself getting, whether it's a movie I'm watching or a book I'm reading or even music, something that says something, a little bit different. And I found myself writing songs, just it wasn't really a planned out thing until I looked back. I was like, oh, wow, the last 2 weeks, most of the songs I've been writing are about social causes or whatever. Yeah. And there is a fine line, obviously, but that means a lot to me that, that you would see that, and I would hope that, the more songs I write, I keep on just being myself.
Well, I think even like your style. Like you're looking more like you. In some of like your early album art, you look kind of like it's a polished country artist, but like now you're Mary Cutter.
Man, thank you, Chris. That means a lot.
I think it's
that
noticeable.
really does. That means a lot to me.
And I think that's a huge ingredient to your success.
Thanks, Chris.
I don't know how.
Well, there's a lot of talented and a lot of beautiful people, and there are different templates of what you can try to follow. And sometimes, trying to be the most delicious vanilla ice cream works, but if you're really not naturally a vanilla ice cream, you can try to water something down. It probably won't fly, Yeah. And so that really does mean a lot to me.
What does it mean to you when you see the response from fans on the road? Because like you talk about how like social media has really kind of been like your catalyst here, but
right.
But you're getting to see that in action as you're going to different states and different venues, and it's like, oh crap, it's not just in Nashville. They also know me in Indiana. Like
it's been wild, honestly. The meet and greet times are. I mean, I love performing, obviously, but I really love the meet and greet times. And the last two shows, I had a show, my first arena show. I was opening up for Hank Jr. out in Tulsa. I guess. 2 weeks ago, and then I had a show up in Kentucky, and both of those shows, the meet and greet lines were over 2 hours each, and that was just, it was wild. I mean, I had a blast. Now, once again, the listeners might be like, well, yeah, it was 2 hours of the way she talks. She probably talked forever. But it was so cool seeing the folks, seeing the eyeballs in the audience. Because, there's one thing, oh, wow, that's cool. That video hit 1 million views. That's awesome. I'm very grateful because not every video or song does that. But there's something about when you're out singing a song, especially when you see the mouths moving. You know what I'm saying? You can hear them singing along.
Yes. They know the
words.
I'm
so excited, Chris. So I'm going on my first headlining tour
in
November.
The Breakout Tour. All right, so you're going to Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio. You're going to be in Knoxville, Nashville, Chattanooga.
Yes.
Tell me about the tour. How did that come together?
It came together real quick, it seems like. And I will say also, I guess it's okay for me to say this. I have not posted this online yet, but Illinois just got added.
Let's go.
So I'm really pumped.
Congratulations, Mary.
Thank you so much. And anyway, this is my first headlining tour, so it's kind of hard to know what to expect, obviously, but we just put the tickets up on sale, and I'm really excited. I'm just so pumped.
Well, I know at least your Nashville show is going to be a sellout. That's happening at, what's the venue for the Nashville?
That's at the basement, which is such a cool venue.
And that's on November 13th.
Yes.
You can get tickets at marycutter.com, Cutter with a K, marycutter.com. Yeah, that's going to sell out.
I'm so excited, and it's looking like maybe a couple of them are kind of close,
Let's go.
which is really exciting. But this is the thing, I'm just so excited to see the folks that I was on a TikTok live the other day, and I was yakking about the tour, and there were some folks that were saying they had bought tickets, and I thought to myself on the live, and I didn't want to get overly sappy while I was talking to people on the live, but I thought, oh my gosh, like I've never met these people before, but we're about to meet each other. They've been following, I guess, maybe a year or so, the music, and it's going to be so cool.
Yeah,
it's just, I'm just so excited.
You're going to get down with your day ones.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think that your tour is going to be a huge success.
Thanks, Chris.
I think your career is going to be a huge success. I'm just listening to the content that you're putting out, and it's unlike anything that we're hearing on the country music scene. So, I appreciate you for what you're doing. And how can we keep up with you on social media? How can we follow your rise?
Everything is Mary Cutter, and Cutter's with a K, like a cut paper, but with a K. And man, Chris, I appreciate you too. You have been so kind to me from literally the first time we ever connected. And,
Well, I believe in what you're doing. And it started with this song that I'm going to use to play us out, The Devil Wore a Lab Coat, which is just a smash hit. Mary Cutter. She's going on tour November 13th, The Basement in Nashville. You can get tickets at marycutter.com. That way you can hear Mary sing this song live. Mary, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Sugar.
Why don't you intro this record for me?
All right. This song right here, it's a true story. Took place in Kentucky, but really all throughout America. It's about Big Pharma targeting the folks in Kentucky. It's called The Devil Wore a Lab Coat.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I messed that up. Sorry. And it was such a beautiful intro. Here we go.
That was perfect timing. No, that make them wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. That was fun. Chris, that's,
It was, hey doc, there's a thing in my knee. Been working underground since 83. Doctor said I got you the remedy. It'll kill that pain real quick, trust me. Didn't take long, half the town was on it. Didn't ask questions, no, we just popped them. Doctors getting fat from ranking in kickbacks. It all happened so fast. One man's grave is another man's paycheck. Our expense at our expense. Forget the coal mines, they hit a gold mine. Hooked us on 6 feet of side effects. Like a wolf dressed in sheep's clothes. The devil wore a lab coat.
President Trump making news again. The headlines, Chris. Donald Trump revokes the Secret Service from Kamala Harris. Ooh.
The unspoken part of this story is the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're going to save in therapists and PTSD counseling for the Secret Service agents that had to be on that detail with Kamala Harris. We've heard the horror stories of Joe Biden swimming naked around his Secret Service agents, but I wonder how many times they've had to pick up a drunken Kamala Harris off the floor of a Wawa because she's on a Doritos run with Dougie. We don't need to pay for that, and she can afford her own security. I don't think this is much of a story. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. October 14th is coming up, and that's the day that means a lot to me, and I know it's going to mean a lot to you. It's not just Charlie Kirk's birthday, but it's also a national day of remembrance. And everybody in the country feels like we need to carry on that legacy. So we're gathering both of my extended families, the Supertalk 99.7 WTN family and the Turning Point USA family, for an evening of honoring Charlie's legacy at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. We're going to talk about Charlie's life, his faith, his courage, and the movement that he built. It's a movement rooted in truth, in boldness, and in a belief that faith, family, and freedom are worth fighting for. I've gotten so many messages, emails, texts. Chris, how can I get involved? Well, at Hop Springs on Tuesday, October 14th, we are going to have Turning Point USA chapters and representatives for you to connect with. So on Tuesday, October 14th, join us at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro so we can remember Charlie together. There's more details available at 997WTN.com, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now, and we hope to see you Tuesday, October 14th from 3 to 8 p.m. at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. God bless you, and God bless America.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Slow around the construction spot out at the airport this morning on Donaldson Pike. Be aware of that as you're headed in that direction. This is the day that the National Guard troops arrive in Memphis. Fox 17's Jen Waddell.
It's going to happen in phases. They're calling this Memphis Safe Task Force. We've got federal law enforcement working with the Memphis Police Department, along with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. We have 13 federal agencies that will be on the ground in Memphis starting today. We've got the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, Tennessee Highway Patrol set to send more than 300 troopers to the Memphis region, with at least 100 of them stationed there at all times.
Those troops will not have weapons, at least initially. A government shutdown could begin at midnight tomorrow if Republicans and Democrats don't come to agreement on a short-term clean bill that Republicans have proposed to fund the government for a few more weeks. White House spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt saying that President Trump has the leverage here when he meets with top congressional leaders later today.
Democrats and Republicans, independents across the country want the government funded because they want our military and our troops to be paid. They want TSA agents and Border Patrol to be paid. They want food assistance programs for women and children in impoverished communities to continue going out the door. All of that will come to an end if Democrats vote against this clean CR that Republicans are proposing.
The White House meeting begins at 2 p.m. Central Time. crime. In Michigan, officials in the town of Grand Blanc held a nighttime press briefing on the attack at a Mormon church where they have confirmed 4 people are dead. The search continues, though, for more of the victims in the fire that destroyed that church. ABC's Josh Margolin telling us that the suspect is 40-year-old Iraq War veteran who rammed his car into the front doors. He used gasoline to set the fire to the building and fired on the parishioners with a gun.
Officials last night at their final press briefing of the day said this was being investigated as an act of targeted violence, but they didn't say it was being investigated as an act of domestic terror or a hate crime. That's the type of thing they would say if they had confirmed a motive that suggests that Christians were being targeted for being Christians, for practicing their faith.
That suspect was killed in a shootout with police. It's National Coffee Day, and a Nashville cafe has just been named to a list of the best 100 coffee shops in the nation from Yelp. The Horn came in at number 20. Their Philly Sambusa getting high marks. Also making the list, Matt Rob's Biscuits in Nashville at number 57, and Butterific Bakery in Memphis. That came in at number 60. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So we got Gavin Newsom out here doing his absolute best to try and intimidate MAGA.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these in the mouth.
You know, it's funny. I can't think of one person that's actually intimidated by Gavin Newsom. Okay. I stand corrected. That Chinese kid looked pretty intimidated. It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm just getting to all the texts about Mary. People love Mary Cutter. Did you know that? She's awesome. She's even sweeter in person. Just one of the nicest ladies you'll meet. But a lot of people are saying she's the country version of Tom McDonald. People are saying I could see her opening up for Morgan Wallen. Yeah, I could see all that. I think she's got just a massively bright future ahead of her. Just a note, we did say we were going to be giving away some concert tickets. If you want to see Mary Cutter in Nashville, hang out with us. We'll give those away at the end of this segment. Sound good? Who doesn't want to go see Mary Cutter live? Mason's thinking about keeping the tickets for himself.
I thought about it.
She'll get you in. We can go.
Oh, that would be cool, actually.
We should go. So we're excited. I like good people, and Mary is good people. So if you haven't heard of her, go check out her YouTube page, Mary Cutter. You can find all the snippets of the new songs that we played. Excuse me. And you can find her on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all the things. She's everywhere. She should be on your playlists. Huge fan of Mary Cutter. A lot to get to today, though, in the meantime. And I appreciate Mary coming through, especially on a busy news day. We were talking about what happened in Michigan, which is just heartbreaking. What happened in North Carolina, also heartbreaking. We're still waiting to find out the motives behind what happened. Depending on which corners of the internet you're in, you'll find a different theory today. It's very reminiscent of what happened in the aftermath of Charlie, where you had quite a few people saying the shooter's MAGA. No. The shooter is a Nick Fuentes Groyper. No. The shooter is transgender. No. It was Israel. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's pretty much the same kind of conversation in the aftermath of the shooting at the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon church in Michigan. We'll wait till we see some more out of it. But no matter how you slice it, violence is wrong. It's just wrong. If it does happen to be a right-wing shooter, you can make the argument that these things are not the same as the rise in left-wing violence, because nobody's been beating the drum against Mormons for over a decade. They have against conservatives. They had against Charlie Kirk and this movement that we've seen created with Turning Point USA. Yep, they absolutely have. But we're seeing left-wing violence on the rise. That's the key difference. And I do feel like we're going to see the left and the mainstream media point to this event in Michigan as a gotcha moment, and it couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't. We'll see what happens. But we do know what the left has been up to lately. I saw a video. I mean, even their supporters. Like, this is the other thing, with conservatives. When that horrific event happened at the Dallas ICE facility, we didn't celebrate that illegal aliens were killed. We prayed for them and for their families. I know I personally did. With members from the left, though, and Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you saw them dancing. Then they tell us that President Trump needs to tone down the rhetoric. But it's like, talk to your own supporters. I saw this display. I don't know if you can put this up on the YouTube stream. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, it's a Halloween decoration display from Texas, and this Halloween display has MAGA gang members being hung from nooses by an individual with a sombrero on and a poncho. This is what we get from the left. I don't know how to frame it any better. So we get stuff like this, and then we get leaders like Hakeem Jeffries, and Hakeem Jeffries will find a podium. This was at the Congressional Black Caucus reception, I believe it was, their foundation dinner, Phoenix Awards dinner. But he gets up there and starts yelling about Jim Crow and slavery. I mean, this is the rhetoric that we get from the left, and it seems like it's on full display constantly. And they'll tell us that we need to calm down. They'll tell President Trump he needs to tone down the rhetoric. But then we get this from Hakeem Jeffries.
In fact, I've come to the conclusion a few years ago that while Jim Crow may be dead, he's still got some nieces and nephews that are alive and well. Trouble all around us. We want to move the country forward. They want to turn back the clock. We're fighting hard to bring people together. They are tearing us apart. We fight for the people. They fight for the privileged few.
We fight for the people. Which people are we talking about? The illegal alien gang members who are pumping fentanyl into this country, or is that the people that you're talking about? It seems that way. It seems that way. That's Hakeem Jeffries. While Jim Crow may be dead, he's still got some nieces and nephews that are alive and well. Who do you think he's talking about? He's talking about you. He's talking about me. And it couldn't be further from the truth. This is just insanity coming from the left. This is the rhetoric that needs to be toned down. But there'll be no calls from the mainstream media to do so. None. Hakeem Jeffries can get on the mainstream media whenever he wants, though. President Trump's DHS, Department of Homeland Security, put out a list of different officials that need to tone down the rhetoric. And they published this on September 17th. It was a press release calling for the media and far-left groups to stop demonizing Trump, his supporters, DHS, law enforcement, following the violence that we've seen. Violence against Charlie, the violence against the ICE facilities, and so on. The document specifically mentions several Democrat officials who have made critical statements about ICE, including Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett, Pramila Jayapal, Dan Goldman, Eric Swalwell, Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, Mayor Brandon Johnson out of Chicago, and the like. This DHS press release response was because of recent ICE attacks, because of the recent rise in left-wing violence that we've seen, including the event in Dallas where we saw the sniper open fire on the facility. And well, he killed 2 people, injured a third, and took his own life like a coward. So they put this out saying, guys, we need to chill, especially individuals like Hakeem Jeffries, who keeps calling ICE the Gestapo. Like, this is the rhetoric that we need to tone down. Hakeem Jeffries was not happy about that one bit. In fact, he went on Fox News, or excuse me, no, he didn't go on Fox News. They were discussing this on Fox News with Tricia McLaughlin, who is one of the higher ups over at DHS, and they played a clip of Hakeem Jeffries calling this press release, which asked them to tone down the rhetoric, a hit list. And then Tricia responded.
Of Homeland Security has done. The Department of Homeland Security put out a hit list directed at Democratic members of Congress, Democratic governors, and Democratic officials. It's a hit list saying to crazies all across the country, target these people. And so, no, we're not going to be lectured by the Department of Homeland Security. Take your hit list down.
It's a hit list coming from the guy who just over the weekend said that Jim Crow's nieces and nephews are alive and well. Coming from the guy that calls ICE the Gestapo. They're disappearing people in the streets. This dollar store Obama over here. Tricia McLaughlin responded on Fox News.
A hit list is what he's talking about. There are a lot of people, frankly, who would argue that's incredibly irresponsible to make that suggestion. 30 seconds. I want to give you a chance to respond.
He's detached from reality. We saw what just happened at our Dallas ICE facility, where it was shot up by a lunatic, by a deranged individual, and he's been emboldened, and others like him have been emboldened by a lot of the rhetoric we're seeing out of Democrat politicians like Hakeem Jeffries, who continues to demonize and dehumanize our ICE law enforcement, calling them Nazis, calling them the Gestapo. It has to stop now.
It has to stop, or we're going to see more violence from radical left-wingers. See, the incident in Michigan feels like a one-off. And again, nobody's been demonizing the Mormon community. They just haven't. But what we saw in Dallas feels like this is a continuing trend because of Democrat officials like Hakeem Jeffries giving them a green light to do this kind of stuff. I see a text from Mario. Someone tell Hakeem Jeffries that Jim Crow laws were Democrat laws. Yeah, exactly. But this is what we get. This is what we get from the left, from the Democrats. How dare you put out a hit list? We're not going to listen to the Department of Homeland Security. The ICE is the Gestapo. These guys are Nazis. These guys are fascists. We have to fight fire with fire, as Kamala Harris said at that same event with Hakeem Jeffries. Just days after the Dallas attack, Democrat Rep. Seth Moulton was back on CNN calling ICE the Gestapo. These individuals need to tone down the rhetoric. They can talk about the president all they want, but they need to look inward first. This is Democrat Rep. Seth Moulton.
How are we going to handle immigration? We all hate what Trump is doing with ICE and these masked people running around like the Gestapo. But what is Democrats' immigration policy? How are we going to take on the challenges of the future?
The Gestapo, running around, disappearing people. And to every leftist who says they shouldn't be running around, grabbing people off the streets, I actually got into it with a friend. Not into it, but this guy I used to work with. He posted a video. This poor illegal migrant man being ripped away from his family. How could this happen? And I responded to him. I said, how would this be any different if I had a warrant out for my arrest and I was with my family? His response was, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not arguing, but if you're going to put up a political statement, you should be able to defend the ideas. They can't defend the ideas. They're unable to. Woefully inequipped. But we see it over and over and over again. Then you saw a story which was just insane. While they're clamoring for more money to avoid a government shutdown, and money for illegal aliens, mind you, for their health care, we saw an insane story. This broke on Friday. A criminal illegal alien serving as Des Moines Public Schools superintendent. This is in Des Moines, Iowa. He was an illegal alien, and he was the superintendent for public schools, making over $300,000 a year. He had prior weapons charges, and he was in possession of a loaded handgun at the time of arrest. Des Moines, Iowa. ICE has arrested Ian Andre Roberts, a criminal illegal alien from Ghana, in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a fixed blade for hunting. At the time of his arrest, Roberts was working as the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, despite being an illegal alien with a final order of removal and no work authorization. What are we doing in this country? Is this guy? Are we gonna cry for this guy who was disappeared off the streets? During a targeted enforcement operation on September 26, 2025, officers approached Roberts in his vehicle after identifying himself, but he sped away. Officers later discovered his vehicle abandoned near a wooded area. State Patrol assisted in locating the subject, and he was taken into ICE custody. Roberts has existing weapons charges from February 5th, 2020. Entered the United States in 1999 on a student visa, was given a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. The investigation into how Roberts acquired the handgun is being turned over to ATF. It is a violation of federal law for those in the U.S. without legal status to possess a firearm and ammunition. I wonder how he got this job as a superintendent. Where are the background checks? Even take the illegal alien stuff out of it. He had prior weapons charges. How? But they'll call us racist for trying to clean this stuff up. That's what they do. We're evil. We're Nazis and we're bigots. How dare we disappear this man? Scott Jennings reacted to the arrest of that Des Moines Public School superintendent illegal alien.
Let me offer just a counter argument, and that is this. We looked the other way for years on federal immigration laws. We didn't really do that much about it. And what you're all suggesting is a policy choice, which is to maybe enforce some but not all. I think I would suggest that when you start to open that door, well, maybe if you come here, it might work out for you. That's when the border is no longer secure again, because that's when people start showing up again. I mean, just tonight, we found out that the head of the Des Moines, Iowa Public Schools has an existing deportation order, is somehow running the school system in Des Moines as an illegal immigrant. We have a problem in this country. And it's not just my opinion. It was the opinion of the American people last November. And I think if you start to, well, you're okay, you're not, showing any leniency in a moment of crisis will be an encouragement to get right back to the crisis. That's our view.
Amen, Scott Jennings. I do hope he lands that senator spot in Kentucky. We'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And the Trump administration knows it. The Trump administration is surging troops to Portland. We're seeing the numbers crank up in Chicago. We also have troops going to Memphis, albeit that's a bigger discussion on why on earth they would send them in there unarmed. It seems like they're waiting for something terrible to happen in the meantime. But there's a lot more to talk about on this topic. We'll talk about what's happening in Portland. We'll talk about what's going on in Chicago and Memphis on the way, plus the reaction from leftists like Chuck Schumer. Not very happy about it. We'll talk about it all next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS, and I got some questions to ask you. Are your floors sagging? Are cracks showing up in the drywall? Doors just not shutting correctly? Listen, these aren't small problems. These are warning signs. Consider them a red flag that there could be something wrong with your foundation. Now, a solid foundation is going to be the backbone of your home. And when it weakens, it's not going to fix itself. It's actually only going to get worse over time. That's why I would recommend that you call the guys at United Structural Systems. I actually stand behind these guys. Since 1994, they've been keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. USS uses American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, these guys will fix it for you right the first time. That's clutch. When it comes to your home, you don't want to be kicking the can down the road. You want to call people you can trust. Call United Structural Systems. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. They're not sending a sales guy worried about his quota. They're sending an expert worried about your foundation. That's the difference. USSTN.com. Thank you, Joan Jones. 1025 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. So I totally forgot to give away the Mary Cutter tickets. My bad.
Well, you were passionate about what you were talking about.
We were passionate. We get on a roll. A little bit of we get our rant pants on. Is that what we do?
Yeah, tightened third notch on the belt there.
We were tightening those rant pants. But if you missed our interview with Mary Cutter earlier, it'll be available on the podcast page. It'll be available on Spotify. We're definitely going to clip it and put it out as a solo video on YouTube as well. But she's got a show coming to Nashville, and she's on her major tour, the Breakout Tour. And we love Mary. We want you to be able to go see her for free. So we got 2 tickets. We'll get you on the will call list. You and a guest. Be caller number 9 right now, 615-737-9986, if you want to go see Mary and listen to her perform Devil Wore a Lab Coat live, Red 40 live, Green River. I mean, we could go on and on. Devil's Money, it's just, it's so good. Devil's Money is the song about her grandfather, who was a bootlegger, or great-grandfather, who was a bootlegger in Kentucky, who then used the devil's money from bootlegging to build the church. It's an awesome song.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a true story, too. It's a true story. So if you want to go see Mary Cutter, I definitely think you'd want to. You want to be one of the first people to say, I saw Mary Cutter before she was playing at Bridgestone. I got to see her at the basement. That's what you want. 615-737-9986. We'll give those tickets out to caller number 9. Appreciate you guys listening and supporting just a great artist like Mary. Just do me a solid, though. If you win the tickets, buy some merch. Buy some merch. That's all we ask. Because Mary deserves it. So, in the meantime, while Mason is digging through that and getting you those tickets, which I think we already get the winner. We already got the winner. It happens quick. We'll get the individual the tickets. We'll get them on the guest list. Just give me their name and then a +1. All right, and tell them they need a photo ID. Yeah, perfect. Love Mary Cutter. If you missed the interview, you can always scroll back on the YouTube or just hang out and we'll get it podcasted for you as well. In the meantime, I told you about Chucky Schumer. People are very upset. People are very upset that Donald Trump is surging the National Guard to Portland to protect ICE facilities. Breitbart has a story. President Donald Trump authorized the use of troops to protect Portland, Oregon, and any immigration and customs enforcement facilities that are under a siege and attack by Antifa. President Trump took to Truth Social on Saturday morning to announce the action, which comes at the request of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, saying at the request of Kristi Noem, I am directing the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I'm also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He emphasized full force, underlined, bold. Trump has designated Antifa as a terrorist organization. He did that last Monday via executive order on the heels of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We all thought that was the right move. Should have been done a long time ago. The left will scream, how do you fight an idea? You can't fight an idea. But Chuck Schumer was asked about the deployment to Portland. This was on Meet the Press yesterday. And he was asked if he can you stop it? Can you stop the deployment to Portland? I would say, no, sir, nothing can stop what's coming. But Chuck Schumer, this is his answer.
Upset, and the lower court threw it out.
30 seconds. Is there anything you can do to stop it as in Congress?
Yes. First, we will fight it in the courts along with, people who will file suits. But second, I would hope, Kristen, that some of our Republican colleagues, seeing I know they're loyal to Trump and does whatever he wants, but this is so far stepping over the line that I'd hope some of them would join us in legislation to prevent it from happening. We have such a proposal. I'm part of it.
This is so over the line. Have you seen the videos? I mean, the Portland ICE facilities have been absolutely chaotic. I'm not going to have any audio on this one. We'll just put the video on the screen. But you have so many leftist Antifa members outside of these ICE facilities in Portland that it's the only safe thing to do is to have these troops there. Because let's be perfectly honest, we've seen what leftists do at ICE facilities now in the recent events that happened in Dallas. They're just going to spray and pray and shoot indiscriminately. These troops are not just needed to protect the individuals working at these ICE facilities and ICE agents, but also to protect the illegal aliens at these facilities as well. They're not just surging in Portland, they're also surging in Chicago and in Memphis. We'll talk about it all when we get back. It is 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. At this hour, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is visiting the White House. It is a meeting of the minds on a potential ceasefire deal with Hamas. However, Just the News is reporting that a Secret Service vehicle caught fire outside the White House ahead of that visit, resulting in street closures all around the White House. It was one of those big black SUVs. The fire started in the back seat. No casualties. It's not clear what started that fire. President Trump, meantime, is taking a hard line in the passage of a clean bill, the short-term funding bill that's been passed in the House.
The White House is saying there is, quote, nothing to negotiate ahead of President Trump's meeting with congressional leaders from both parties today. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president is giving Democrats one last chance to be reasonable today.
The White House is insisting a clean funding bill gets passed by the midnight deadline tomorrow night to avert a shutdown. Leavitt calling it, quote, reasonable. Democrats say they won't vote for government funding unless there is a reversal to recent Medicaid cuts and an extension of the soon-to-expire Obamacare subsidies to prevent insurance premiums from increasing for millions of Americans. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
On the economy, falling interest rates and home builder discounts have house hunters signing on the dotted line. Pending home sales soared in August.
After a July that saw pending home sales fall by 0.4%, the National Association of Realtors says the figure rose by a full 4 percentage points in August, driven by activity in the Midwest, South, and West. Looking ahead, realtors expect an increase in buyer traffic over the next 3 months.
ABC's Jim Ryan. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And the only thing crazier than the savings at Busy Bee is the amount of bee puns I'm going to drop during this commercial. Right now, it's the best prices of the year event, so the savings are buzzing. When you schedule any heating repair service, you get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's one more way Busy Bee is going to keep your hive safe and sound. Thinking about a new HVAC unit? Don't get stung by high prices anywhere else. Check out these deals. Goodman 14.3 SEER 2-ton split heat pump, just $79.95 with a 10-year parts warranty and a 2-year labor warranty. Rude 14.3 SEER 2-ton 10-kilowatt heat kit, only $89.95, or upgrade to that Rude 16 SEER 2-ton for $99.95. And here's something as sweet as honey. September is National Grandparents' Day, and they're celebrating all month long. Beehive Club members can give a free Beehive membership to one set of grandparents. It's one way of them honoring family. And the buzz doesn't stop there. There's plumbing specials as well, including $500 off water and drain repipes, plus $300 off tank to tankless water heaters. And don't forget, refer a neighbor and you'll both bring home a $50 credit when you schedule that HVAC maintenance. So don't swarm around waiting. Call Busy Bee today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
1037 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can normally listen to us anywhere. I'm getting some text messages saying that the iHeartRadio stream is on the fritz again. I can only imagine it's because we're doing too much truth. We're ODing on the truth, and the iHeart stream can't handle it.
They can't handle the truth.
So I would suggest that you go over to TuneIn, the 99.7 WTN app, or the FM dial, which is always a classic. We love the FM dial. Or you can watch the show as well, YouTube and Rumble. We have all the video for all of the audio that you hear on the YouTube stream. That you hear on the radio. We have it on the YouTube stream. So that way you get a visual for all of the things that we're talking about as well. It adds another layer, and we appreciate you listening, however you're listening. So we got a lot more to get to, a lot more. We understand that there was a shooting over the weekend in North Carolina and in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The one in Michigan is definitely taking the brunt of the headlines. Both are horrific. Both veterans, both 40 years old, the shooters, and looks like it's a case of just psychotic breaks and PTSD. Now the left will point to this and say there's a rise in right-wing violence. And I would say that doesn't exactly equate the same way. We haven't been beating a drum against Mormons. We haven't. We've been beating the drum for law and order. You know, maybe this would hold a little bit more weight if in the aftermath of the Charlie assassination, we had, caused billions of dollars in damage and burned down cities across the country, but we didn't. Our response in the aftermath of that was praying. And we've seen actually the faith movement just being pushed forward to all-time highs. It's unbelievable to watch, especially when you see the gospel spread to every corner of the globe like it was a week ago. And now religious leaders are reporting a staggering 15% rise in attendance at church following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Bible sales are already surpassing 10 million through the end of August. This is what we need to fix the nation. It's not going to be an elected official. Trump is awesome, make no mistake about it. But Trump is stopping the bleeding. I made the case last week. He's the tourniquet. He's the tourniquet. He's going to slow the bleeding. What we need in this country is a heart change, and I do believe that we're witnessing a heart change happening in real time. We're witnessing a bravery and a boldness of faith like I haven't seen in my lifetime, and I'm grateful for it. My pastor was talking about it over the weekend, and I hope yours was as well. But to see this coming from the places that we're seeing it come from, not the theology schools, as my pastor put it, but from online influencers, it's just the way God works. It's just the way God works. And I'm going to keep praying for peace for this nation. I'm going to pray for all of the ICE officials that are in Portland and Chicago, the National Guard troops in Portland, Chicago, Memphis, praying for peace. That's what we need to keep doing. But we can only hope that we see a heart change that changes the nation here just quickly. We need it done quickly. It's going to be tough because for every influencer that we have out there proclaiming the name of Jesus, for every conservative who is saying that the heart change is in full motion, you get Democrats like this guy, Chai Garcia. He's a U.S. representative out of Illinois. He is a Democrat, and he was talking about the surge in Chicago, and this is what he had to say.
Time and time again that the people that you are apprehending and kidnapping and interrogating and terrorizing are hardworking people that make Chicago and Illinois a better place for everyone.
Do you hear that? So this is a Democrat rep, and he's telling everyone that ICE is the Gestapo, and the people that they're apprehending, the people that they're taking, are hardworking Americans that make the community a greater place. This is the kind of rhetoric that is going to get more ICE facilities shot upon. That's just the facts. This is the kind of rhetoric that saw a deranged maniac open fire on the Dallas ICE facility. This is why I look at what happened in Michigan especially, and I say these two things are not the same. Point to me a conservative who has been beating the drum about how evil Mormons are, and I'll stand corrected. But the fact of the matter is you can't. On the other side of the aisle, I can say, show me a video of a Democrat calling the ICE Gestapo and saying that they're just disappearing people, and we could spend the whole 3 hours of the show playing that audio. These things are not the same. They're not. And what do you say? That they're good people? That they're taking good members of the community? I'll play it one more time.
We see time and time again that the people that you are apprehending and kidnapping and interrogating and terrorizing are hardworking people that make Chicago and Illinois a better place for everyone.
Oh, so it's a weird take, guys. I saw a headline that would refute that. I mean, we don't even have to get into the meat and potatoes of the article. We can just do the headline. Tren de Aragua criminal alien arrested in Chicago Home Depot raid. What did he say that they're doing, all these the people that they're arresting?
Are hardworking people that make Chicago and Illinois a better place for everyone.
TDA members too. I'm not here to say that the guy's not working hard. He's doing the jobs Americans don't want to do, you know, like extorting illegal aliens or selling fentanyl or shooting rival gangs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are jobs that Americans don't want to do. They make Chicago beautiful for TDA members make Chicago beautiful for everyone. Tren de Aragua criminal alien arrested in Chicago Home Depot raid. Border Patrol agents arrested a TDA member during a raid at a suburban Home Depot parking lot. The arrest came as Border Patrol ramped up its Operation Midway Blitz enforcement action in Chicago. Commander of the operation, Chief Patrol Agent Gregory Bavino, posted video and photos from the operation that led to the arrest of this and other dangerous criminal aliens in the Windy City, saying the green machine is rolling hard in Chicago, making your community safe. Tren de Aragua terrorist member caught during this operation. I don't know. We're going to run out of hardworking Chicagoans if this keeps up, apparently. All the people that make Chicago a more beautiful place. Insane. Chief Bavino went on to say, we're here, Chicago, and we're not going anywhere. He said that the TDA terrorist gang member had been previously arrested for possession of cannabis and theft of services. He's also wanted in New York City in connection with a murder investigation. Working hard. I guess so. Luckily, he won't have the chance to add to his greatest hits here in Chicago at your expense, the chief said. You're welcome. Where are all the Chicago leaders celebrating this? Saying thank you. Thank you, sir. They're nowhere to be found. They're not going to celebrate this. They're going to use this as a political weapon and say that they're disappearing hardworking people, which puts our ICE agents in the line of fire. We're seeing this happening at a crazy pace. This is, if you're watching on the stream, Broadview, Illinois. Antifa and leftist agitators outside of an ICE facility. Border Patrol no longer playing any games, and they weren't going to take it sitting down, and they just attacked the protesters with pepper balls. It's like a paintball gun, except it's pepper spray in there. God bless them. Hold on. Actually, I do think I could do the audio for this one because some of the audio, the Antifa members are just yelling the F word constantly. But this audio, just for the effect, this is what you hear if you're an Antifa member at an ICE facility.
Get back!
That's pepper balls. Pepper balls. God bless them. It's also been revealed that 11 violent leftists were arrested outside the ICE facility in Chicago. And while they say that these are peaceful protesters, I think it's important to point out how many peaceful protesters do you know are showing up with firearms and explosive devices? Because that's what happened. Listen, I'm a pro 2A guy, and I don't want to knock it, right? I think everybody should be carrying. I think an armed society is a polite society. But when the Democrats classify these people as peaceful protesters, it's important to point out that they have firearms on them and fireworks that they're going to throw at these ICE agents. Not exactly your peaceful protester. There are some people in Chicago, though, that are grateful for it. It's not your elected officials. It's not Democrat politicians. The people in Chicago that are excited about the federal agents showing up, the ICE agents ramping up operations, well, that would be the citizens. And I saw this video online. I think it's important to point out 2 elderly women are sitting down at, it looks like an outdoor cafe. They're outside of Lulu's, and they're sitting there chilling, and all these federal agents are walking by, and these two women are just thanking them profusely. Just waving. Thank you, thank you. This is what's at stake here. These two elderly women want to be able to walk around in their communities safely. They don't want to be assaulted by a Tren de Aragua gang member who's, albeit, according to the Democrat politicians in Chicago, a hard worker, making Chicago a beautiful place. But they don't want to get sucker punched from behind. They don't want to get robbed. They don't want to be carjacked. And they're saying to these federal agents, thank you. Thank you. One of them pointed at the lady and said, we work for you. We're here for you. The citizens want this change. The Democrats don't. But we're not messing around anymore. Gloves are off. I saw a story here that's it's fantastic, actually. Andy No reported on it. Andy No, he has a lot of expertise when it comes to Antifa. He actually embedded himself in Antifa for years. They want Andy dead. Make no mistake about it. They want all of us dead. We're fascists and we're Nazis. But Andy No reported that a federal grand jury has indicted 3 far-left militants with felony conspiracy for following an ICE agent home in Los Angeles and allegedly live-streaming the address to incite comrades to attack. Story's wild. And if it wasn't for independent journalists, you wouldn't hear about it. I didn't see any of this on NBC over the weekend. Nothing on ABC over the weekend. Not a peep. Not a peep. Anti-ICE rioters are issuing warnings, fearing the Department of Homeland Security has access to their phone data and communications and will use it to make further arrests related to their conspiracy. Good. Ashley Brown, Cynthia Regoza, and Sandra Carmona Semaine allegedly followed an ICE agent home, live streamed to their Instagram accounts, inviting their tens of thousands of followers to show up after disclosing the home address. The Instagram account used to stream were ICE out of LA, Defund Me So American Culture, and Cord Maiden Designs. Brown was also charged with assaulting a federal officer in a separate case. They were also indicted for publicly disclosing the personal information of a federal agent with the intent to threaten, intimidate, or incite violence. What else could they possibly be doing? Live streaming an ICE agent going to his home. Why are these ICE agents wearing masks? They yell. Lunatics like this. This is what we're up against. This guy, what could have happened to his home? By the grace of God, they didn't firebomb it. But let's not kid ourselves and say that that's out of the realm of possibility. We've seen the violence escalate from the left. And we need to attack it head on. And I'm thankful to the Trump Department of Justice for doing that with this indictment. If you're going to follow around an ICE agent, you're going to dox him on a live stream, you're going to be held accountable. And these 3 women are. I hope they throw away the key. Granted, it's Los Angeles, so we'll see what happens. I think these are federal charges, though, so hopefully they stick. Elsewhere, this is in Texas. We're seeing another example of the Trump administration not playing any games. This is a wild story. An employee at a district attorney's office in South Texas near the border is going to be spending up to 3 years in federal prison for using a government vehicle to smuggle migrants into the country. This week, Bernice Annette Garza went before U.S. District Judge Nelva Gonzalez Ramos in McAllen, who sentenced her to 3 years in federal prison for her role in a migrant smuggling operation where she used a vehicle belonging to the 229th District Attorney's Office in an attempt to avoid detection by authorities. At the time of the conspiracy, Garza had been working as a victim coordinator for the DA's office and had been using the vehicle and various work documents to smuggle migrants. Garza pleaded guilty and had been out on bond awaiting her sentencing hearing this week. Documents from the plea hearing have revealed that the group reportedly made close to 50 trips using a U.S. government van and charged each migrant $3,000 per trip. This is what we're up against. It's not just like they're actively trying to thwart ICE. They're actively trying to go the other way and bring illegal aliens into this country. It's crazy. Well, she'll be facing up to 3 years in prison. Nothing of value is lost. It's 10:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, drivers, we've got some pothole repair. Looks like rolling roadblocks blocking the right 2 lanes at 24 eastbound in Smyrna. It's going to be just past Sam Ridley Parkway. Busy day for President Trump. He's got to meet with Democrats to avert a potential government shutdown. Also got to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Then, of course, we have the 2 mass shootings over the weekend to get to coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Did I tell you I'm out of the doghouse when it comes to baseball pads?
That's the way to go, brother Chris Hand.
So, I spent way too much money on the catcher's gear for my 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, way too much money. Like, I'm embarrassed to say how much I spent.
Yeah.
It was $400. It was
for catcher's gear?
I didn't know until I got to the counter. And then I turned and looked at my son, and I got puppy dog eyes, and I was like, I'll deal with this with Mom.
Yeah.
So Friday night, though, I got out of the doghouse when it came to the catcher's gear.
All right. What'd you do?
I sat in the stands. It's what the kid did. It's what the boy did.
All right.
So we had a big game, and we were losing. It was 8-4.
Yeah.
We start to mount this comeback, last inning, and Brooks scores the run that gets him in the lead. So it's 9-8.
All right.
And we go to the bottom of the inning. We're closing out the game, and he's playing catcher.
Uh-huh.
The pitcher, our guy Theo's throwing lights out. He strikes out the first batter. Then they start getting some bats on the balls, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we got a runner at second and a runner at third. So that's the game if they get across.
Yes, sir.
Brooks, this next batter comes up. He hits it towards first base. Brooks runs past the batter, grabs the ball, runs back, and tags the guy out coming across home.
Tell me you've got that on video.
I don't, because I was losing my mind. And then get this, Ken, get this. So he does that. The team is going bananas. They'd already went bananas when he got the run to put him up 9-8.
Yeah.
Team goes bananas. They run out. He saved the day. Like, thank you, Brooks. Next batter up. It happens again. It happens again. This time it was hit towards the third baseline. And our third baseman grabs the ball and he throws it to Brooks, who jumps up to catch it and then comes down and tags the guy out to end the game before they went to before they scored. It was wild.
That is awesome.
I was so proud.
You'll never forget it.
Oh, my gosh.
Ever.
And my 8-year-old floated for the rest of the weekend.
Yes, sir.
We went to practice on Sunday. One of the kids called him MVC, most valuable catcher. He's like, I love it.
Yes, sir.
So it was the best. My wife looked at me after the second out that he got.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not mad at you about the catcher's gear anymore. I said, thank you. Thank you. Really, I owe it all to Brooks. But proud dad moment.
Awesome,
and listen, this is what matters. Like, we can talk about the news, we can talk about all that fun stuff.
Sure.
But the biggest impact that you can have in your life is with your family and with your faith. And we did all of that over the weekend.
Yes,
man.
sir.
So I had to just do a little humble brag on Brooks.
That's the way to go, man. That's 2 killer plays.
Dude, it was unbelievable. I was like, even if this never happens again, I'll never forget it. But we got a lot more on the way. We will focus on some news as we get back. No one's above the law. Have you heard this before?
I have.
You have? I
have heard that.
Well, I'm glad that you have, because certain individuals do feel like they're above the law.
Oh, now.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk all about it. It's 11 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like they have wrapped up that road work that was blocking 2 lanes eastbound 24 there in Smyrna, but picked up some more road work over here by the airport. It's the usual there. Donaldson Pike, both north and southbound there at the I-40 diverging Diamond. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Busy day for President Trump with just days to go until a potential government shutdown.
The White House is saying there is, quote, nothing to negotiate ahead of President Trump's meeting with congressional leaders from both parties today. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president is giving Democrats one last chance to be reasonable today.
The White House is insisting a clean funding bill gets passed by the midnight deadline tomorrow night to avert a shutdown, Levitt calling it, quote, reasonable. Democrats say they won't vote for government funding unless there is a reversal to recent Medicaid cuts and an extension of the soon-to-expire Obamacare subsidies to prevent insurance premiums from increasing for millions of Americans. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump going to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today. And a panel says they're expected to discuss the war in Gaza as the president tries to broker a peace deal.
The Saudis, the French, Arab and Muslim leaders, as well as Britain's former Prime Minister Tony Blair, have all come up with different ideas on how you resolve this and how you move forward. Netanyahu telling Fox News that the Trump plan isn't finalised and the devil will be in the detail here.
Police say 4 people were killed, 8 injured in that shooting inside a Church of Latter-day Saints near Flint, Michigan yesterday. ABC's Alex Perez is at the scene.
The terror lasting an agonizing 8 minutes until authorities shot and killed the gunman, who officials say was a former Marine and an Iraq War veteran. A spokesperson for the LDS Church telling ABC News places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peacemaking, prayer, and connection. We pray for peace and healing for all involved.
And a shooting at a crowded dockside bar this weekend in North Carolina. 3 people were killed. Dozens were packed on that deck in Southport near Wilmington Saturday night when authorities say 40-year-old Nigel Edge pulled up on a boat armed with an assault rifle, opened fire. Here's Steve Emmons, who lives there in Southport.
He was, really was shooting fish in a barrel, because if you ever look out there, it's a pier, where the end is, and his boat was right out there, and there's nowhere for anybody to go.
The alleged shooter captured about 30 minutes later. Investigators say he's a self-identified veteran who told police he suffers from PTSD. Prosecutors in North Carolina now weighing the death penalty. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Yeah, I'm still considered a villain in MAGA world. I hope I said that correctly, although I've offended enough people in MAGA world, it doesn't matter at this point. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I often joke I'm the relationship that Trump can't get over, wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about me and how I'm living my best life. I think it has some combination of I really have had a happy, productive life since then, and that I spoke out about him, and that despite their absolute best efforts, they were never able to get me.
That aged like milk. That was James Comey just a couple months ago. Despite their absolute best efforts, they were never able to get me. How's it feel being indicted, pal? James Comey, nobody's above the law. We've seen what's happened. He's now been indicted for perjury, and we'll see where the case goes. Does he get convicted? A lot of people say, probably not. Whatever. I love it. The process is the punishment. Drag him through court. Make it as painful as it can possibly be. Like walking barefoot on hot, broken glass. I want it to be excruciating for James Comey. After everything he did to ruin the FBI, yes, he deserves everything that's coming to him. We're going to pay attention to the court case here on Super Talk, and it's in federal court, so we're not going to get any of the videos that we should get. We'll get awful courtroom sketches, but I feel like there's a good chance that James Comey is going to be held accountable for this. It's 50-50. There are other people who are like, it's 95-5 that he's going to get off. I'm not necessarily in that camp. We'll see how quickly the rats scurry off the Titanic and who's going to flip on James Comey. But we got a lot of time between now and then. In the meantime, the Democrats are so upset about it. Jasmine Crockett, she said you're not a patriot if you're celebrating, if you think James Comey should be indicted. This is Jasmine Crockett over the weekend on MSNBC. Did you know that? If you think that James Comey should be indicted, you're not a patriot?
I want the American people to know that when you stand up to a bully, you win. Do not back down. Do not bend. You allow them to go and wage their threats. If everybody starts to bend, for sure what is left of our democracy will be gone. And unfortunately, that is exactly what he wants. And even more sadly is that many of his followers agree with this. And I am thinking to myself, how is it that you can call yourself American or patriotic when you literally don't understand who we are as Americans, when you literally are okay with throwing out the Constitution, when you're okay with someone just deciding, you know what, this is the end result that I'm seeking, and so just figure out how to get there.
How dare you call yourself a patriot if you think people that abuse the law should be held accountable for abusing the law? How do you reconcile that? 615-737-9986. How do you reconcile calling yourself a patriot? I would say no one is above the law. I would say after the weaponization of lawfare that we saw against Donald Trump, getting somebody on a crime that he actually committed is fair game. Donald Trump tried to go the peaceful route. He didn't go lock up Hillary Clinton, and a lot of people said that he was wrong for not doing so. I got his logic, though. You're going to lock up a former first lady. What's that going to do to the country? He was trying to extend that olive branch. We saw what happened. They grabbed the branch, they snapped it in two, and they said, screw you, bigot. So, all right, great. Are we supposed to feel sad for James Comey? Jasmine Crockett wants you to feel sad for James Comey. Jasmine Crockett wants you to think that you are un-American if you believe James Comey should be held accountable for what he did. That's not even the worst thing that was aired on MSNBC over the weekend. It's not. They had, who was it, Ken Delanian on MSNBC. He said, guys, this is really scary. This might ruin James Comey's life for a time.
Maybe Comey will end up walking away from this, but this will still be expensive. It will be stressful. It could ruin Comey's life for a time, and it seems to be foreshadowing, if Comey's now, who could be next?
Good. I hope it does ruin his life for a time. I hope it ruins his life for a time, just like the praying grandmothers' lives were ruined because they walked into the Capitol on January 6th. Yes, all is fair. And I understand Comey wasn't in charge of the FBI at the time, but 275? Was that the number we landed on? 275 federal agents in the crowd? It was like a massive entrapment scheme. But we're supposed to feel bad because we're gonna ruin his life for a time. 615-737-9986. A lot of the people that are around James Comey are starting to feel rather nervous. Andrew McCabe, he's I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. But he sounds a bit nervous. He was on CNN over the weekend talking with Fake Tapper, and he says this indictment against James Comey, it's vengeance. That's what we're seeing.
I mean, there's only one thing to make of it, Jake. It is absolutely what the president himself characterized it as. It's vengeance. This is the revenge tour. It's the tour he promised when he ran for office in 2024. It's what most of us who have fallen in his crosshairs before expected, and it's what we're seeing now. And I absolutely expect we'll see more people fall into the same sort of vindictive prosecutorial defense posture.
It's so vindictive to go after somebody who lied about leaking information to a newspaper, and then that same leak was then used to launch the Russia collusion hoax, which then really stalled the presidential the first term of Donald Trump's presidency. It's so vindictive. Guys, what's with all the vengeance? I mean, we understand that we called the president a Russian asset. We lambasted him in the media for a decade, almost got the back of his head blown off because of it. Why the vengeance? You're not a patriot, and you're too full of vengeance. Brian, you're up next on Super Talk. What's going on, Brian?
What's up, man? Hey, I just admit it's vengeance. You can call it what you want, but if Russia attacks us and then we defend ourselves, is that vengeance?
Right.
It's all, it's the same kind of thing. It could be just a boyhood fight or something. And we're built that way, even though Jesus came to take that away from us because vengeance is mine, he says. And that's so hard for me sometimes and my children and the way I've raised them. And I say, if somebody pushes you, you might want to try to work it out, but don't take 2 or 3 of those pushes because you'll end up getting beat up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love Jesus. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like we focus too much on the lamb a lot of times. Like when people say, "What would Jesus do?" I think it's important to remember that flipping tables and making your own whip to chase those bankers is well within the realm of possibilities.
100%. I quote you a lot when I say I'd like to see a little bit of the line.
Yep.
Because I've heard you say that. Plus, I know the Bible a little bit. I was raised in the church, but I still have to weigh that, and I sometimes have trouble with it, even though I want to lash out. I've got a shirt coming. I design shirts on the side sometimes, and I've got a shirt coming that has a picture of Ashley Babbitt and Charlie Kirk that says they are patriot martyrs.
Yeah,
that's what they are. That's what they are. People want to say Charlie's a Christian martyr, and he is. But I don't know about Ashley. I can't say that, but I'm going to say that on that shirt. Just like I got the one that says today where Trump's floating in the Gulf of America. It says American first, the art of the deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I appreciate the call, Brian.
A patriot.
Yep, you're absolutely right. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. Justice is not exactly the same as vengeance. I agree with a lot of Brian's sentiment there. But justice is just that. It's justice. J.D. Vance was on Fox News over the weekend, and he's not exactly happy that you got people claiming that this is a political hit on James Comey.
With this, President Trump has said that the indictment of James Comey is justice, not revenge. There is pushback to that, of course, among Democrats, including Senator Tim Kaine, who is calling it a complete political hatchet job. The president has said, quote, there will be others, and in the past he has listed Adam Schiff and Letitia James. Do you think there are more indictments coming, and do you think that's justified?
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, but we're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case and not political motivations, which frankly makes us so much different from the Biden administration, where they indicted not just the President of the United States, but so many people who were just engaged in the basic job of politics, who were engaged in policymaking, who disagreed with the Biden administration, and because that they faced prosecution from that same administration. If you look at the Comey indictment, Martha, this was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. There were 3 requested indictments. The grand jury returned 2 of those 3 indictments. So I think they showed they were judicious. I think that it showed clearly that there were a couple of things that James Comey did wrong. And to the people who are saying that this is all political, I mean, look, if you look at our track record in the Trump administration, there have been people who have been prosecuted, who have been political allies, who agree with our politics. There have been people who disagree with our politics. We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath, and he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury. But the idea that this is driven by politics, I think is preposterous when you actually read the details of the indictment and the obvious fact that James Comey did lie under oath to Congress multiple times.
Yeah, if those kids could read. I mean, it's only the indictment is only about a page. It's not a heavy lift whatsoever. But if they want to claim that this is vengeance, well, where was the 3 a.m. raid? What did they rifle through? Did they rifle through James Comey's wife's underwear drawer? Anybody? If they want to claim it's vengeance, how come it wasn't the exact same thing that we saw done to President Trump or his supporters and his allies? It wasn't vengeance. It's justice. Tom in Murfreesboro, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Tom?
Yeah, just a thought. I think everybody is misusing the word vengeance, although you were using it correctly. What they're talking about is revenge. Revenge is personal, and vengeance is justice.
So which do you think that this is?
No, I think it is accidentally vengeance. I think it's justice.
I'm with you. I think we're looking at justice in real time, and I appreciate the call, Tom. And I think that if we were looking at vengeance, you would have seen the 3 a.m. raid. But we didn't see that. Nobody rifled through Comey's underpants drawer. I don't know if anybody would want to, but nobody did that. And we saw the exact opposite when it came to President Trump. Scott Jennings yesterday, just on CNN, he nails it as he often does.
And put somebody who, I mean, is just simply inept and unqualified to actually have that job.
Well, she was apt and qualified enough to get a grand jury to look at the evidence and return 2 charges against him. Are you saying that this process, which is used all over the country every single day to bring crimes all over the code, is somehow broken? These are ordinary citizens in a liberal jurisdiction who looked at evidence from a prosecutor and said, yeah, it looks like there's something here. Is that not what happened?
Yeah.
Watching somebody like Speaker Johnson normalize that, it sends us down an incredibly dangerous path.
I'm stunned to hear you say we're now worried about normalizing this kind of thing. We had an attorney.
You are about to do right now. Let's hear it.
I'm about to tell you what happened in the state of New York when the Democratic Attorney General ran an entire political campaign promising not to uphold justice, but to prosecute one person, Donald Trump. And I didn't hear a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth among Democrats about normalizing the weaponization of justice.
And what we're talking about is the abuse of the system.
What abuse beyond the idea of prosecuting people when Democrats were going after Trump? Were you worried about abuse?
Because I firmly believe that Donald Trump broke the law and he was indicted.
Do you think the 34 charges that are cited all the time were good charges?
But let me actually go back to Joe Biden. Joe Biden indicted his own son. Did he deserve to be indicted? Yes. But he indicted his own son.
You're saying the White House was directing. You're saying the White House was directing indictments. But you're saying they were directing indictments. That's a revelation.
Just have one person speak at a time. What were you just
saying? Yeah, Scott Jennings is not playing any games. He never does. We'll take more of your calls on the way. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're tired of back pain, knee pain, neck pain ruining your life, I don't blame you. But do you know that there's a solution out there, right? A solution that's not going to break the bank. So many people that live with pain, like, I'd give any amount of money to fix this. Well, how about $12? That's it, $12. That's the Big Daddy Trump special going on right now at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And that $12 is going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. Only $12. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are the best in the industry, and they want to get you back to that pain-free life without surgery, without injections, and without opioids. I know, it's crazy, but this is what they do. They can treat all of your pain, back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. It is time for you to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it today. Give them a call, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. I'm Chris Hand, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval on this deal that could change your life. Painisbad.com.
Democrats say they're going to block a funding bill in the Senate that would avert a government shutdown by Wednesday. We'll tell you about that more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, 615-737-9986. If you want to join the show, it's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. I think the apps have been a little wonky today, so just join us over on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, and then you can see all the video elements that are also available with all the audio elements. Like right now, you'll probably see me blinking weird because I got like this thing in my eye. I don't know. I got like an eyelash in my eye or something.
Is it
like,
a gnat?
I don't know, but I'm like awkwardly like blinking at these people. I'm like, I'm not winking at anybody. I'm just going blind, I guess. I don't know.
No, you're just tweaking out.
It's like, what in the world? This is the added element that you get on the YouTube live stream. You would have never known that, and I would have never had to address it if we were only on the FM dial.
That's right.
But yeah, dude, like, looks like I'm crying. I've done enough of that the past couple weeks.
Got a gnat in my eye last week, man.
Did you?
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
No.
I was just wondering if you did too, because in Murfreesboro, where we live, there's these weird little white gnats flying around my neighborhood.
Chinese drones.
That's what I thought about,
I'm
man.
letting you know. I'm letting you know.
You've gotten to me, Brother Chris. Everything I see, I sit and I wonder if that's a robot.
It is. I think the safest play is to assume it's all robots. That's the safest play.
It's like my neighbor's dog that I've known for a year now. I'm starting to wonder.
I wouldn't trust that dog.
That tail looks strangely like an antenna right now.
Come to think of it, I never see it drink water.
Oh, that would fry its main circuits. So, confirmed robot.
Yeah, I can't get water into the internal circuit.
Do you remember Do you remember the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis? I need to watch that again because for some reason, all I could think about is he had Zach Galifianakis had a Shih Tzu, and they said we got to get rid of these dogs. They're not testing well. Nobody likes Chinese dogs. I don't know why. 615-737-9986. Bill in Antioch's been holding on the line. What's up, Bill? What do you got?
Yeah, Bill. Yes, Chris. Good afternoon or good late morning. I think a lot of the issues with Trump started when he said he was going to drain the swamp, and a lot of these crimes, we'll call them, or the fraud and abuse started, many, many years ago. Trump got in there. He was serious about draining it, and that's why they didn't want him back in for a second term. And I feel a lot of this is in vengeance. It's doing what he originally said he would do. And I think the crimes are, much deeper and wider than even the ones that are announced of late.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you, Bill. It's like it's promises made, promises kept. I'm going to drain the swamp. Here we go. And yes, I agree. The crimes are much wider and deeper than perjury. But they got Al Capone on tax evasion, right? So get them how you can get them. There's a lot of people that sound real nervous lately. Everybody wants to know what the next indictment is going to be. We got a lot of guys out there. Merrick Garland, John Brennan, Andy McCabe. I mean, the list goes on and on. John Brennan, though, was on MSNBC over the weekend, and you tell me, does he sound nervous? He says he's been doing a lot of review on what he did as his time as CIA director, and he's been looking back on his actions, and he doesn't see any case against him.
I don't see any case against me. I have looked back on all of my actions and decisions, and with John Durham, the special counsel, and others that have looked at what we did, it was certainly consistent with our legal authorities and with the law. So I don't know what they're referring to there. Individuals who used to work in the government, even if their security clearances were revoked, they could be subpoenaed. They could be, called to provide testimony in support of whatever allegations they have. I don't see a case there.
Oh, it's not up to you. It's up to the Attorney General. And if she sees a case there, well, I hope we see some indictments. He's a slime ball. You can hear it in his voice, too. He's high-pitched and really breathy, and he's nervous. They're all nervous. Good. It's 11:30. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, looks like they're working on some potholes now going westbound on 24, right there before Sam Ridley in Smyrna. So you have the right 2 lanes blocked 24 westbound before Sam Ridley in Smyrna now. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Well, Democrats continue to say they're going to block a funding bill in the Senate that would otherwise avert a government shutdown on Wednesday. They want Republicans to agree to their demands, they say, are on health care funding. The top congressional leaders, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, due to meet with the president later today. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
Going into his first ever sit-down with President Trump, the top House Democrat says his party is drawing a line in the sand.
We're not going to simply go along to get along with a Republican bill that continues to gut the health care of everyday Americans.
Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats are demanding a permanent extension of expiring subsidies that have made Obamacare plans more affordable over the last few years. They also want a reversal of recent changes to Medicaid. Republicans say Senate Democrats should accept the House-passed bill that extends agency funding through November 21st. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today. They're going to discuss the war in Gaza as the president tries to broker a peace deal. Here's chief correspondent from the Foreign Desk, Ian Pennell.
Everyone seems to be talking about Hamas laying down its weapons and potentially being allowed to leave Gaza. Well, Hamas, who obviously get a say in this, haven't indicated that they're prepared to do either of those things. So despite the warm words of optimism, I think we still need to be cautious.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We've had a lot going on, and there's a lot of stories that we didn't have a chance to get to. So every day at this time, we run through all the stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment that we didn't have time to get to. And what is it that we call it, Mason? Do you recall?
Oh, I believe it's called...
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
Oh, and I got some doozies for you today. I got some doozies. Remember last week with the Tylenol stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Britain, they came out and they said, don't listen to anything Trump says. You remember that?
Don't listen.
Don't listen to the orange man. Tylenol's totally safe. And then we were like, well, should we listen to Tylenol? Because they said don't take it while pregnant.
Yeah, they said that a while ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I've come to a new conclusion. We don't need to listen to anything the British government says.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know if it's a new conclusion. We've kind of been doing that for a while now. It's about 1775.
Yeah, right around there.
Right around. That was when we stopped listening. But at least on health advice, this is our first story in the lightning round. I want to let the storm dissipate.
Let that crackle fade.
All right. So remember, they said don't listen to Trump about Tylenol. Okay. Which leads me to this headline. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. So the Tory MP says health service should stop taking the knee to damaging cultural practices like first cousin marriage. Take Tylenol while you're pregnant. Sleep with your cousin.
They got their weird priorities in order, I guess, if that's the order they want to go with.
The NHS has been urged to apologize for publishing guidance extolling the benefits of first cousin marriage despite the increased risk of birth defects. Guidance published last week by NHS's England's Genomics Education Program says, get ready for this. Buckle up. First cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages.
We got to keep it within the family.
It's a strong family. It's a strong family.
Strong.
But the practice has also been linked to the oppression of women and also has a proven increased risk of genetic disease in offspring of first cousin relationships. Richard Holden, the Tory MP, told the Mail on Sunday, our NHS should stop taking the knee to damaging and oppressive cultural practices. The Conservatives want to see an end to cousin marriage as a backdoor to immigration too, but Labour are deaf to these sensible demands. Sir Keir Starmer should stop running around scared of the misogynistic community controllers and their quislings who appear in the form of cultural, relativist, obsessed sociology professors and ban a practice the overwhelming majority from every community in Britain want to see ended for good. So there are people speaking out against this in England. I find the juxtaposition hilarious. Last week they said don't take advice from the Trump administration. Tylenol is totally fine when you're pregnant. This week they're saying take more Tylenol if you get pregnant from your cousin. Is that what we got? I feel like that's where we're at.
Just double down.
They're just doubling down. Now, it's important to point out the real reason that they're doing this is because they've been culturally invaded by Muslims. I know. Listen, it's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. There's first cousin marriage in the Muslim community in England and all over the world. It's gross. Gross. Not something I advocate for. To each their own if you want to risk your offspring having a birth defect, I guess. But a lot of people are talking about it online. A lot of people are talking about it, including an account that I follow, 9mm_SMG, 9mm SMG. He's got a lot of followers. He's got like 300,000 followers. Good account to follow. And he said over half of the Pakistani population in England is the result of inbreeding. Over half. Yikes. Said now with an even smaller pool of Pakistani to choose from in another country, the consanguineous sex rate will only increase. It's great to see England doing the whole, it's not happening, it's a conspiracy, it's actually happening and it's good cycle. That's what we're seeing. Which leads us to microcephaly. Microcephaly. Are you familiar with microcephaly? It's a condition that is a birth defect when a baby's head is significantly smaller than average for their age and sex. You're seeing this a lot in England now. This same account said, I've only ever seen it in medical texts until I went to London. And I saw 2 separate Pakistani women wheeling around children with it in the span of a week. Do you understand how rare it is? There is a major incest problem in your country, and you post articles like this. Yikes. Yikes. So take Tylenol and sleep with your cousin. It's a new British.
That's a nasty one. That's nasty.
Yep, it is nasty.
Oh, yeah.
It's gross. It's gross.
Oh, yeah.
And we got through all that without one Alabama joke. Did you notice that?
Yeah, me and RJ were talking about playing Sweet Home, but thought it was too much.
It's like a meme. No, they don't deserve that. It's actually happening in England. Yikes.
Ooh.
This is what happens when you get culturally invaded. This is the results. This is the fruit that it bears. Sorry. It's just the facts. Got another story for you.
Sorry, I just need a little bit of this before we move on to England.
All right. Yep. Thank you. It's insane.
Sorry.
What the hell is going on with England? Anybody know?
I don't think they know either.
It's just like you're a racist if you like the British flag, and you're also a bigot if you oppose first cousin marriages and sleeping together.
Yeah, just watch what you say on Facebook.
I mean, you understand the slippery slope, though, right? Like if you start bending the knee to cousin marriages, well, then you're gonna have to start bending the knee to child marriages, which are also allowed in Islam. It's a religion of peace. So there's that. Cousin marriage was banned in the Roman Empire in the 4th century.
I think for a good reason.
Catholics banned first cousin marriage in the 6th century and second cousin marriage in the 14th century. In parts of rural Pakistan, 80% of the people are products of cousin marriages. 80. Whoa. But listen, welcome them in. It's gonna make your culture vibrant.
Oh yeah, standing on top.
Diversity is our strength. Yikes. All right. Somebody asked Grok what the 10 most horrible incest damaged countries are on Earth. You ready for this? Number 1, Pakistan. Number 2, Saudi Arabia. Number 3, Kuwait. Number 4, Qatar. Number 5, Jordan. Number 6, Iraq. Number 7, Afghanistan. Number 8, Yemen. Number 9, Sudan. Number 10, Iran. If only we could find a common thread between these countries. We'll have our researchers look into it. Could be anything.
Anything at all.
Could be anything. So, we're not scientists.
No, never claimed to be.
Yikes. Sorry. All right. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I don't know how to follow that. Eric Adams has dropped out of the mayoral race. What a timeline we live in. It's 2025. England is advocating for first cousin marriages, and conservatives are going to be rooting for a Cuomo to become mayor of New York City. I don't know which one's more wild. Does anybody know which one's? It's probably the cousin marriages, but let's be honest. The Cuomo stuff is pretty weird, too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Eric Adams hailed for quitting the mayoral race. Pundits hope the move is a blow to lefty Zohran Mamdani, the socialist communist Muslim who is running for mayor in New York City. He's promising government grocery stores and the like. Eric Adams was hailed for his decision to drop out of the Big Apple mayoral race Sunday, reports the New York Post, including by ex-Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's mounting his own bid to take City Hall. Remember, he's not overly aggressive sexually. He's just Italian. Do you remember that? Do you remember when he did that? He like went and had a big press conference and he's like, I'm not making people uncomfortable sexually. I'm just Italian. Look at this video of me kissing all these women. That's something he did. The choice Mayor Adams made today was not an easy one, but I believe he is sincere in putting the well-being of New York City ahead of his personal ambition. Cuomo, who now becomes lefty frontrunner Zohran Mamdani's most formidable mayoral opponent, said in a statement, "We face destructive extremist forces that would devastate our city through incompetence or ignorance, but it's not too late to stop them," the career Democrat said. Mamdani, the Democrat nominee who's leading in the polls, blamed Adams' decision on President Donald Trump and maintained it wouldn't change the outcome of the election. Mamdani, in a statement, said Donald Trump and his billionaire donors might be able to determine that Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo's actions, but they will not dictate the results of this election. New York deserves better than trading in one disgraced politician for another, which is a swipe at Cuomo because he resigned in disgrace in 2021. He also killed all those old people in nursing homes, allegedly. Allegedly. On November 4th, we're going to turn the page of politics of big money and small ideas and deliver a government every New Yorker can be proud of, Mamdani said. Will you be proud, or will the rich people just flee and turn the city into more of a hellhole? It's probably the latter. But there we are. I mean, 2025, man. Cousin marriages, they're good. Okay? And we're rooting for Cuomo to become mayor of New York City. It's a crazy time to be alive. Got another story for you here in the lightning round.
Listen, the storm's moving away. We're getting close to the end of the hour.
The storm's a little bit off in the distance.
Allegedly.
Did you see what happened at the Georgia-Alabama game? Not just that Murphy's Bulldogs got beat.
Yeah.
Which I'll let him handle that. I'm going to handle the important stuff. Brawls were breaking out in the stands.
Fists were thrown.
Fisticuffs. I'll be honest, it was a pretty soft fist fight, and it didn't seem like anything crazy happened. But like, why? Why are we doing this? Does anybody have any idea why? I would imagine it's alcohol, right? Are they selling alcohol at these games now? At the Alabama game? I'm pretty sure they do. But this kid got rocked. He got rocked. Elsewhere in college football over the weekend, my wife was excited about this one. She's a big UVA fan. She grew up outside of Charlottesville. The fans stormed the field for the overtime win against Florida State University. This was pretty wild. But interception and then just fans just running on the field. Surprised the guy that caught the interception didn't get trampled. Seems
definitely got a loose kick or something, probably.
Seems like a bit of a safety hazard. But that was that's the extent of what I paid attention to in college football over the weekend.
Yeah, fair enough.
I wanted to make sure that Murphy's team lost because it's funny. Because I'm just here for the memes. I don't really care about the teams, either team at all. I just know Matt Murphy personally. And I find it funny that he's going to be disgruntled today on the show.
Not only that, but Jackson's definitely going to give him a nice
the what? Yeah, he's going to give him the what for.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
good.
That's why I touched on college football. Just to let you guys know that Murphy is going to be, I mean, all these flavors today, and Murphy's going to choose salty.
Oh, yeah.
Does he have any guests lined up? Any Democrats coming in? I would reschedule if I were them.
Gonna get Angry Murphy all day.
Angry Murphy's my favorite Murphy. That does it for the lightning round. We'll check in with Chad Benson, see what's coming up on the Chad Benson Show when we get back. It's 11:51, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What?
11:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, Chad?
What's happening, brother?
You have a good weekend?
I did. Had a quiet weekend. It was very nice, although my daughter woke up yesterday at 2:30 in the morning, much like me. She has trouble sleeping. She said, Dad, do you want to play? I said, do I have a choice? She says, no. So I was up all day yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah, so we played. Toca Life World.
What is it?
It's a little video game she plays where we go and we make characters and I hide them in these giant cities that she creates, and then we have to go find them. It's hilarious. But she liked to play that for like 5 hours. It's always fun.
Perfect. 2:30 in the morning.
2:30. And I'm like, oh, hey, football game's on because it was early over in Europe. I'll watch this. There you go. But yeah, it was a good weekend. What about you? Baseball?
Oh yeah, we had baseball. I got out of the doghouse for buying $400 pads for my son.
Why? Because he's just doing so well back there?
He was a beast.
See?
He scored the winning run, and then the next team got up. It's the last inning, and he got the last 2 outs, tagging him at the plate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. I was so proud of the guy.
So he's loving it?
Loving it.
Yeah. Well, it's the best place to play. Pitching and catching when you're that little is the best.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you get the ball every time.
Well, he's a lefty, so like the days are numbered as to he's like, no, I'm going to be the first lefty catcher in the major leagues. I'm like, I love the dreams. But
I love the dreams. It's been a while. Doesn't really
it
work
was
that
like
way.
the 80s, but the guy was a right fielder and a first baseman.
Yeah.
We Googled it for him.
Yeah.
And he played 3 games as a lefty catcher.
Just as a uniqueness. Yeah.
Yep.
First base, though.
First base.
First base.
Clutch.
Yeah. He's got a big bat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Bring it, baby.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So what are you paying attention to today? What stories are tickling Chad Benson?
We got a mental illness problem in this country.
We do.
Yeah, and it was on display this weekend. And it is weird that other countries have an abundance of guns as well, and they don't have the problems we do. And, man, are we not taking care of our veterans?
No, and I would just like to point out 988 and then press 1 if you are a veteran in distress. 988, press 1.
Because these 2 guys in particular that in North Carolina and in Michigan, serious cries for help along the way. And where is everybody, even in their families, not stepping up saying, man, you need to get help. We need to get this guy help. This guy could be harm to somebody else or other people. There's serious issues. And the fact that they still had access to weapons, they should have been somewhere getting actual help. And for one of them, the guy in North Carolina, I don't know what kind of help you're going to get that guy. How he's so far gone when you hear all the stuff that he was claiming. And not just claiming it for like the last couple of weeks, claiming it for years. And how has he slipped through? I mean, yeah, we're going to treat them well. Yeah, sure we are.
It seems like the media is going to focus more, though, on the Michigan one. And I think that we're going to see an uptick of them trying to blame right-wing violence on
It's
that.
possible, but I
would just say, has anybody beated the war drum against Mormons for a decade?
No.
These 2 things are not the same.
No. He is he's got some serious issues. And yeah, the whole thing, they were like, well, is it because the leader of the Mormons died the day before? I'm like, I don't really think this guy was, I think he's just,
I don't think he was paying attention.
No. And and even when you look at his stuff, there's pleas for some help and that he has problems, but it was never like, I hate the left or kill everybody who, is Antifa. No, it was none of that. His kid was, has a serious medical condition. He was living in atrocious conditions. And guys served our country and were like, hey, thanks. Here's a trailer that's falling apart. Have a good life.
It is awful how we treat our veterans.
It's ridiculous.
We should be rolling out the red carpet for these guys.
100%. And then the VA is a hot mess because, they spend more money than just about anybody, but it's mostly on their stuff. It's never on really fixing issues.
VA is getting better, though, and I do believe with Secretary Collins, it's going to be in better shape. I mean, for the simple fact that we're not letting illegal aliens cut the line anymore.
Yeah, but
that's huge.
But we've got to do better. There has to be, because there's too many of these guys under the radar between the angry nihilist and these poor dudes who served our country. In many cases, the guy written a book about what a lie it was to serve our country based on the fact that he was lied to do it. And how do we treat them? We treat them by basically ignoring them or tell them, hey, call us on a Tuesday and we'll get you in 6 months.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's awful how we treat our veterans.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. The big lawsuit. Jacob Chansley. Yeah, you know him. Everybody knows him, right? The great January 6th shaman.
Oh, QAnon shaman. I've met him before. He's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah, I've met Jacob. He's suing Trump and everybody else for $40 trillion.
40 trillion.
Trillion with a T. With a T.
That's a negotiating tactic. You start high.
Aim high.
You start high.
Warner Brothers. He's suing everybody you could think of. We may be getting sued. We don't even know.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Like, he's suing a ton of people. $40 trillion.
What's the basis for the lawsuit?
Crazy. He's probably that they all coerced him into being, the shaman.
He's probably going to get some money out of it somewhere.
Who's taking that case?
I don't know.
40 trillion seems like a lot, though.
Well, I'll be looking forward to
suing Elon as well.
Oh, good. I'll be looking forward to your breakdown. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.